It's the month of May, and this has been one of the most crazy housing markets I've seen over the last 12 months. We're going to jump right in. One of the biggest things that people are asking is, should I wait to buy a home? One of the biggest percentages of buyers in the market are millennials right now, and many of them are waiting till interest rates drop. But one of the things that a lot of people are starting to catch on to is, wait a minute, there are not a lot of homes for sale, and I sure don't see a whole lot of new construction. What if when rates drop, a lot more people come into the market, and is that going to help prices or not? And so a lot of people are starting to realize that this housing market is very unpredictable, and the media that was talking about a crash in prices for the last 6 months when rates started coming up, you're starting to notice them back off of that sentiment, and many media outlets are starting to report that home prices for the first time last month started to see an uptick in many markets around the country. The reason for this is very simple. It's supply and demand, and we do expect interest rates to drop as inflation comes down. However, when that happens, there's a lot of people that are concerned that the market that's already extremely tight is going to become more challenging for people to enter the market at an affordable price. Now, keep in mind, if interest rates go down, that definitely helps you if you're getting a mortgage with your monthly payment. But if prices go up at the same time, it could easily cancel out any benefit from rates going down. So a lot of people right now are taking advantage of the market as it is and trying to get in the game as quick as they can, knowing that they can refinance at a later time. And I just want to illustrate this for you because I saw this guy that I follow on social media who's a consultant, he's a financial guru, talking about how in many cases in America, it costs 20% less to rent than it does to buy. And he was using the example that in America right now, the average house payment is $2,500 with taxes and insurance, and you could rent a house around $2,000. This is an average, obviously. But one of the things that people have to think about is if you're going to wait, you're assuming that prices and or rates are going to come down. They're going to bring that $2,500 payment down to the same as rent or close to it. And that's a really big risk and a bet. Because if you end up renting a house at $2,000 for 5 years or more, that's well over $125,000 you're going to pay. That really goes to nothing. And if prices don't come down, or if rates come down and prices go up, you're all of a sudden paying more to buy that house, and your payment is not going to be any different than it would have been had you bought at a lower price. The other thing he made an example of is that we're in a housing bubble, and that prices right now are at the same point they were in 2006. And the thing that people have to remember is 2006 was 17 years ago, and real estate appreciates. And the housing bubble thing, I get that. There's definitely some bubbles. We saw it with cryptocurrency. The stock market's had bubbles. It goes up and down. Everything goes up and down. It is not healthy for things to go straight up like they did in 20 and 21. However, the reason there's a bubble is because there is money in real estate. And if for some reason there was to be a crash, which is a 30% drop in price or more, there would have to be something that would tell people to sell real estate so that all of that money flowed out of real estate into some other asset. But that money doesn't just disappear. And for most people right now, they feel more safe with real estate sometimes than even having their money in the banks with all the things that have been going on with the banking industry. And so there's a lot of moving parts to this economy right now. And I'm certainly not trying to say that everyone should buy a house, but I think that if someone they can afford a monthly payment, and they're paying rent, they should really consider getting in the game, even if they're not buying their dream house for their first home, which most people don't. Obviously, if someone cannot afford to buy a house, they should come up with a plan, whatever it is, to get out of debt, to learn to make more money. Usually it's both, so they can put themselves in a position to buy a house when the time is right for them. So that's what's going on right now. Interest rates are still in the sixes. I think they'll be here for the rest of the year. We do think that rates are going to come down, and we saw the peak of interest rates back in the first quarter of the year. But listen, when people say that rates are going to come down, we're not talking about the historic rates of 2 and 3%. We're never going to see that again. But if we could get into the low fives or even the mid fives, that is a good rate overall. And we're hoping to see that at some point in 2024. If something changes, we'll let you know. Hope you and your family are doing well. Have a great month. Talk to you soon.